All right, I'm going to do a pre-beta Tokon character overview. This is just going to be going down the list of the characters in the beta minus Blade that we know about, that I can talk about how they play to get you prepared for Tokon as soon as possible, and as well give the new players a general idea of what each character does. Times will be sectioned out in the video, so feel free to skip to whatever character of your choice. Let's get it. Starting everything off, Captain America. Captain America is a strong, all-rounder style character who's great at controlling any angle of the screen you desire using his various shield tosses and bounces. He has really basic mix-ups for overhead and low, so he has decent pressure and pretty average buttons. He is good at just about everything without excelling at anything in particular. So if you're looking at a character to start with, like nice starter character with great screen control and a character who can play all facets of the game, well, he's your guy. Next, we've got Iron Man. Iron Man is another all-rounder style character, though he is tuned more in the strengths of zoning, air movement, and full screen pressure opportunities. For that, he trades off some of the angles that Cap is able to cover on the screen. Some grounded mix-ups. He does not have a standing overhead outside of the universal overhead attack. And his button strength is a little low. They're not the best buttons in the world. However, these trades are overall worth it, as his zoning is much more varied than Cap's and allows him to start pressure from full screen, perform full screen combos while having the flight mechanic, which not only helps his movement but gives him some ways to pressure with overheads on the ground, due to Iron Man being able to flight cancel almost all of his specials and unique moves. If you want to easily and safely approach your opponent from full screen, he is your man. Next, we've got Miss Marvel. So Miss Marvel has giant buttons with great range, but has no projectiles whatsoever. To make up for it, she has her own pull unique, which can get into her opponent's face very quickly. And if it's spaced out properly, it's actually plus, meaning you can take your turn from full screen. Kind of like Iron Man, just not having to spend any resource on using an assist to help him get from full screen to the opponent's face safely. She does have a grounded overhead that is really, really fast with great range, and it leads to combos solo. She can limit the opponent's movement options from full screen with a lot of her special moves, and on top of that, she is a bit of a grappler. She has a standard command grab, and she also actually has a 100-meter super command grab, so you can abuse a lot of these free plus frames you get from her pull move to, set up some of these command grabs pretty easily. So you can tell she does a lot by herself if you were listening to the long laundry list of things I just said there. She doesn't really require any partners to help her so much. So if you're looking for a great starter character that doesn't force you to think about your partner so much, she's definitely the one for you. Next, we have Spider-Man. Spider-Man's unique can just kind of come off as a worse version of Miss Marvel's unique at an initial glance, but what it lacks in plus frames, it makes up for utility. Spider-Man can use his unique to zip around like a whole bunch of unique angles that the rest of the cast can kind of have a hard time dealing with because they can't really catch all of those angles. He can also start pressure with his unique from virtually anywhere due to it being able to be used in almost any direction. His buttons are average, but what he lacks in range of buttons, he makes up for in various mix-ups that can be difficult to deal with, and they're super duper easy to perform. His grounded overhead and low hitting special move are super easy to use and have a very, very great mix-up point that makes it extremely hard for your opponent to tell which option's coming. Not to mention, he also does have a projectile, unlike Miss Marvel, the web shot. This special can cover a lot of screen real estate, especially if you're doing the EX version in the air. It is a great tag out move as well. So if you're looking for someone faster than Miss Marvel, but requiring a little more time and attention, Spider-Man is definitely the guy for you. Next, we've got Starlord. Starlord is what I'm describing as an all-rounder character who is more tuned towards rushdown, primarily. He does have some zoning and screen control attributes, but they kind of come secondary to his rushdown. He has some fantastic buttons and a grounded overhead. He has great overhead low mix-ups. His unique allows for 3 different gun attachments. All of these are useful in their own ways. Fire is great for tagging out. Earth is good for anti-zoning purposes. And ice is good for some creative mix-ups. Use these guns to basically, make the best of the situation you're in. And Starlord, I think he's a good starter character who's not too complicated at all. Next is Dr. Doom. Doom is one of the most difficult characters to learn. He is a full screen zoner. His movement is very poor. His walk speed is slow, and he has this cool looking teleport dash. But still, unfortunately, it's not the greatest movement. Doom wants to sit back and kind of annoy the opponent and force them to come to him and make a mistake, then hit them with massive damage. For his combos actually do some pretty high damage. The other thing Doom can offer is a lot of great left-right mix-ups on the opponent's wake up by using his laser move and teleport dash. So if you want to stay away from your opponent and frustrate them, Doom is the character for you. Next, we've got Storm. Storm is a mix-up heavy focused character that takes a little bit of effort to be good with, but has high rewards for being skilled at using her unique and can allow for a lot of great idea expression and on-the-fly decision making. She has 2 very strong projectiles, but they have very high startup on both of them. Both of them serve as a purpose to help start her offense and control the screen via her wind. Her wind allows her to do several variations on high-low mix-ups as well as control her projectiles to always keep your opponent guessing. So if you want to put your opponent in the blender, pick her, but just be ready to learn. Just be ready to learn how to use that wind to the maximum effectiveness. So next we've got Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a character who has even longer distance buttons than Miss Marvel and will make your opponent feel like they're fighting against the wall whenever they try to approach. He has a variety of tools to do long range combat, basic high-low mix-ups to boot in while he's up in your face. His buttons can be a bit on the slower side due to the immense range they have, which more than makes up for that slow speed. You will spend a lot of time managing his level gauge, which buffs his special moves, but if he keeps going too high on the level gauge and hits level 3, he will overheat, which will put him in a bad spot. So you need to also learn how to leverage using his uniques to cool down his level gauge to try and keep him around level 2 for the maximum benefits. He also does have one of the strongest tag out moves in the game with his whip special. So if you're looking to control the opponent from full screen using buttons and also still kind of be able to get up in the opponent's face and be able to set up for great mix-ups, I think this is your guy. Magik is an all-rounder mids dispenser style character. She has huge buttons, but not much mix-ups using her standard offense. But when you add in her portal mechanic into the game, it kind of changes things. Setting these up can give her some pretty great mix on top of amazing buttons that she already has. The portals have more utility than just mix though. They can help her with anti-zoning and combo extensions as well. She's able to play her game in almost all situations. Any character like this is pretty easy to usually pick up at a base level, but she has a higher kind of utility ceiling with her portals that you can learn if you kind of wish to. So next is Wolverine. Wolverine is an ultra rushdown focused character with looping offense. His goal is to get in and stay in. His unique is entirely focused around gaining and spending the Berserker state. So to gain the Berserker state, all you have to do is land one of his unique attacks. His unique attacks are mostly high-low mix-up based or work in combos a lot of the time, so they're quite easy to land. Once you land the first unique attack, that gives you the Berserker buff. So now your goal is to land the next unique attack, which will allow you to follow up with a combo without spending any assists, where usually he would need to spend an assist while using his unique. Then you can land another unique attack in that same combo to set up for the next combo using his unique attack with the Berserker Rage buff. So looping this is how he loops his offense. He also has one of the strongest projectiles in the game. Its durability is the highest I've seen in the game so far. Like, it just looks like it kind of beats everything. So if you find a projectile that beats this one, please drop the comment below, because I'm really curious if this is just the highest durability projectile in the game. So far it seems like it. So needless to say, if you are looking for looping offense, ultra high rushdown, never letting your opponent take a breath, Wolverine is the guy for you. Next we got Danger. So Danger is an unorthodox zoning slash setup style character. She has zoning at all different kinds of angles which have light tracking. She wants to set up her unique to allow for stronger zoning to enable this tracking I was just talking about, and also enable her mix-up game. She also has decent close range mix-up game with her hover dash to create quick 50-50s, as well as her teleports that interact with her unique satellite positions. She can be more difficult to pilot due to her unique movement and confirms from full screen, which can make her a bit difficult to pick up. I would say, just based off of what I've seen, she is probably the most difficult character to play in this beta, so not recommended for beginners, but of course, if you love her, go ahead and play her. Next, we've got Black Panther. Black Panther is a rushdown character with some light zoning tools and long buttons, so a little bit like Starlord, but she's kind of trading a little bit of the speed of her buttons for longer buttons. She wants to build up her unique quickly so she can use it for mix-ups, pressure extensions, combo extensions, and neutral skipping. However, her resource can be limited and difficult to build. So the only real way that you get infinite resource with this character is her install. So assume everything I'm saying here is outside of her install. When you're in install, you can use that resource as much as you like until that meter runs out. So you have to kind of pick and choose when you want to use her unique in any normal situations wisely, because I just listed 4 different things that you can do there, but since this resource isn't super easy to build a lot of quickly, you're kind of going to have to make on-the-fly choices whether or not you want to use it for a mix-up, a pressure extension, combo extension, or a neutral skip. So this kind of adds a unique layer of complexity to the character. It's not executionally demanding. I'd say it's more decision making that is going to be demanding on this character. So if you're up for the challenge of managing this resource, then I think she's for you. Last character we got here is Magneto. Magneto is a trap style zoner. While Doom kind of waits for the enemy to get frustrated and come to him, Magneto basically brings the opponent to himself in a lot of situations. He has 2 main mechanics, magnetize and debris. The debris mechanic generally just buffs his special moves either in damage or plus frames, whereas the magnetize generally buffs a lot of his moves to help with pressure, combo follow up, and range. Having both on the opponent at the same time generally leads to both benefits in most cases. On top of that, if your opponent becomes too passive in neutral, just trying to block everything, he has a command grab. And if you're magnetized, it'll pull your opponent in. So not only does your opponent have to deal with this trap style zoning where he can just pull you towards them a lot of the time and initiate pressure on his own terms, they have to deal with a command grab when they get too passive, just trying to block all of the zoning. So he's got to be a pretty hard character to deal with. I would say he may end up being overall not a super difficult character to pilot per se, but more keeping track of, is the opponent magnetized, and I magnetize the opponent during this combo, do I have enough debris out right now, and kind of managing those unique resources of his own. But if that sounds good to you, I would say pick him. I think he's actually a pretty strong zoner just based off of what I've seen. That's everything. So far at least. I'm going to make a follow-up video to this one because obviously we have plenty more characters, but I need to kind of find out how they actually operate. So I'm going to call this the beta version of the video. I think I will make a full video before the game comes out if we end up getting the gameplay before then. If we don't get any gameplay for the other, has it 6 or 7 characters? How many ever there are. If we end up not getting gameplay for those guys, then it will be dropping when the game comes out, and I can find out a little bit more about what the characters do. But that's it for now. I'm super jazzed, super excited for this beta. I really hope to see you all on there. Let's get on there. Let's crack some heads. It's Marvel time, baby. Let's go.